Alrighty, so we are in week 2, right? The second period of week 2. So let's talk about, question is how to submit your assignment, right?
JPEG or PNG?
So let's review again. Last time I showed you how to do the hello world, right? And also we show you how to do it in the IntelliJ, right? Right?
Right.
Like you have to type on Notepad once, you copy and paste in here, right? So, like for example, let's review one more time. So this is the code I type on my Notepad. Like I said, you should do on Notepad first, right? And then this one you, like in this case I have Java is fun, then really I need to put it under Java is fun, right? So to do that, Java is fun.java. Right, I said you switch to all files, right? And then save that. Now to recompile this, can anyone help me? Open CMD.
Yeah, you gotta navigate to where the .java file is. So you use the cd command space. Do you put it on the desktop, or I don't know exactly where you put
right, I put it on the desktop, and I put on under folder CSC right there.
Okay, so if that's the Java file is, you do java c space the name of the file .java.
So
compiled, and then the Java command
to run, right?
Yep.
And this one should say hello world, right?
Yep.
So this done with the Notepad version. Like what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to broadcast like or record this with any file, like program, I mean, like you can use OBS, right, to broadcast the whole action that I'm doing here. That's why I'm supposed, like last time I told you for last assignment, we didn't have time to show you through this, then you technically can do snapshot, which is fine. But now for the next assignment that we're gonna do, like we're gonna do at 1.2 today, right? So you probably want to do the whole thing here, just like what you're watching me now, right? So I want you to record yourself, okay? Any type of program, like you can download OBS, you can use Screencast-O-Matic, it's free for 15 minutes, like that one, right? To record programs running, pretty much just interact like that. But you don't have to record the whole process of duration of your assignment, 2 hours or whatever. I just want to see the final, right? Like after you have that done, like I show you here. Okay.
So you just want us to
show this for Notepad.
Java. So for example, Java space Java is fun, and that's it.
Yeah, and show me your code that you run, right?
Okay.
And see the output right there. See that? And of course, it has to be your own record, like your own voice and everything, right? That you do the work.
Am I understanding though that in the meantime it's okay that we screenshot it, but for the next project you prefer that we record the whole thing?
For the next time, no screenshot. For 1.1, yes, you could.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next time I'm showing you now, then you want to record that. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so now we're done with the Notepad part. We still have to do with the IntelliJ idea, right? So same thing, when you're done with the Notepad, you pretty much just copy this and paste on your IntelliJ, right? And then you technically run this one. Now if you're new to IntelliJ, you see that this works now, hello world, right? First time you may not see this one, will be able to click. You have to right click and run as, like run the file, right click on the file and run first. Then it's going to put your project into this one, because there could be several projects running. That's why. Then that's pretty much the second one that you want to do, right? When you do the same recorded, right? In the same video here.
Just pressing the run button.
Is it this one?
Right. And see the output here, show me the code. Now this code is small, but when you start to learn more, you probably have to pretty much just explain a little bit in your code that's bigger, right? How it works. So like this one is pretty much just System.out to display hello world. And the comments here that you should start to use that, like this is called multiple line comments slash asterisk asterisk and asterisk slash. So multiple line comment is like this. This is it, right? So that means everything that go, like anything that you type between this slash asterisk and asterisk slash, the compiler will not read it. It's going to be on like your own comments for the program. And if you see like just single slash slash, this is called single line comments or forward line. This could go like multiple lines. Okay. So normally when you write a Java class, you should make a comment like why you want to do this program, description of the program, the purpose of this program. Like this way, I love Java, Java is fun. And the author, we use annotation for the author. And then I just put a license. GNU is like open source license, free to educate yourself, free to use, but no guarantee of bugs, errors, defects. Okay. Oh, you can put your own license. Created by, I just put here my name and pretty much created on. I already have author, so created on the date I created. Or you can put version number too, right? So that's pretty much you want to put in your comments here, right? Now you notice that this one has 2 asterisks. So we want to use 2 asterisks. I will learn why we need that. This annotation, we want to use that. This is called like adds symbols or annotation in Java. We will need them when we want to create a document that we call Java doc. So let me show you real quick. So when you put this in the comments, so we can generate the Java doc. Tools, generate Java doc. So what it does is it's pretty much just like create an HTML page of your file of Java class here. Okay, that including the comments here. You can do whole project, pretty much just the whole project here, or by file. Like now it's the same thing, it's only one file. If you have multiple files in one project, just create everything. And it just asks you where you want to put it. After it's generated, it's just create HTML like a web page for you to link to this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the same location. So I'm going to go to users, or I can type here. Okay. Then I can leave the rest as default and hit OK. There's an error, but it did generate the HTML file here. But they don't have this one. There's no such the annotation for that. So just take it out. So you can regenerate again because there's an error. So again, go to tools, generate Java doc. We talk about comments here, right? That generate Java doc. So it's going to replace the old one. No errors at this point. And open the page for Java doc. So it's just refer. This is a Java doc. It's say this is a class named Java is fun. Normally we just publish this online. Okay, just like for everybody to access and reuse the code. That's why I put license like GNU. Then you can pretty much download and use my code to do whatever you need. Okay, but this is documentation just come with that. Then when you download, you want to see how to use my class, and then you read this. Okay, this class is just to display the word I love Java, Java is fun. And that's only one we call methods here, right? We learn about method. So it's the main method here, right? One method. And we can talk about constructors. Constructor is pretty much just a method again that has the same name as your class name. Okay, and this is a default one. It's always going to have constructor and the method. If you look back to your code again, you pretty much going to see, right, this is the one. And now if I switch back to IntelliJ, you will see we have the comments here, right? So let me just copy that and put on Notepad, then we can explain Java doc. So if you look back to your Java doc, let's go to the beginning. So it's just say class Java is fun. This is a class Java is fun. Okay, and when I put the purpose on the comment, it's going to show on here the purpose, right? Display live Java, Java is fun. So that's why if you put the multiple line comments with 2 asterisks when you start, this is going to generate and include in the Java doc when you generate the Java doc. That's why we want to do 2 asterisks. That's the difference between just the multiple line comments with 1 asterisk, right? 1 asterisk will not do include in the Java doc. Okay, and then by default you may see that we didn't type like a method named Java is fun. So technically we could type like another method, right? Like in one class you can have multiple methods. Now this is one method, right? Main. You could just create another one like public Java is fun. This is pretty much just a method that has the same name as your class name, and then you open the method, close the method like that. This is called a constructor. Okay, this is the name. The name is a constructor, which you can make it empty like that. Don't have to implement anything, because by default you're always going to have the constructor. That's why it show up one constructor named Java is fun, and it's just empty, no description. Same, this is main. So let's look at, this is the method name main, right? And this part we call modifier and type static void. Okay, so type is void. Okay, modifier is static. And you learn what does it mean. Okay, so void just like there's no values, just like when you void a check, there's no values. So meaning that in math, if you look at math, like if I'm talking about function in math, right? So if I say f of x and I say equals to x plus 1, so what would it return when I say f2? It's going to return 3 because 2 plus 1, right? So this is a function that returns values, right? So this is a function that will not return values, so we just void. That's what it means. Okay, it's only display, will not return anything. Okay, Like, for example, if I want to write a function to return values, like in terms of Java, I can say, now we have to understand that they have data types. Data type means what? Every values in the world, like numbers, has, when you learn math, number has what? Real number, irrational, rational, whole number, integers, decimals, fractions, right? So those are the type. So same thing when we deal with information and data, we have to know the type. Like for example, we were dealing with a string. String is pretty much just a text, right? Word or phrase or context like that. Okay. Alright, so like for example, number 3 is an integer, and in Java we call it as integer. We call int. So now this method, I give the type int. See, like a type, right? This is type is void, right? Modifier could be static. If I just wanted to make static, I could too. Statics. And we will learn what does it mean later. Okay. Sometimes you can omit it. Sometimes you must have it. The word statics. So this is going to do a function. So I just call f. So this could be my method name f. Right. And the integer x is an integer. So I have to talk about int stand for integer x like that. This could be represent f of x, the whole thing here, right? But in the term of Java, this is in the term of math. Okay. So Java pretty much just like math, like there's so many function which we call method, right? And then you open curly braces, close curly braces, right? This is pretty much just we start to implement this guy, right? But we didn't implement yet. Like now we only know that we can display the output. When we display, there's no return, so that's why the type is void. Now if I want to return, I have to say return x plus 1, and always end with semicolon in Java with statements. So that's technically done. This is represent this function in, this is in math, but this is in Java. So I could just start to put the comments in here, right? Like we said, you should always include the comments. Like 2 asterisk is going to come for the Java doc. Let's say what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to put in IntelliJ, right? So now when you write the comments, you should write at the class level, like beginning before the class, at the method level. Now if I start to write like that, I have to do 2 asterisk too. Then the description will fill into this description portion, right? Description of this method, description of this method, right? So let's come back. I'll show you and we're regenerating it. This is Java is fun constructor. Okay. And this is, you see when you do that, it's automated, provide those 2 values. X, pretty much this is called parameter. That's why I call param, right? So you just need to explain what is this method for, right? So this method returns the value of, or this method will increase value of x by 1. Okay. So meaning that if you put 2, it's going to give you 3. If you put 3, it's going to give you 4. You can say, let me just use this. So just try to explain some more. For example, f of x equals to x plus 1, right? So you may say, if you say, right, like that. Represents f of x equals to x plus 1. Okay. It will increase the value of x by 1. So just try to explain x. So now, if I wanted to watch x is an integer value that needed to be increased by 1. Something like that, right? And what will return? X plus 1. That's just the description. Okay. And this is also another description. Main method to display hello world. So this one is pretty much at this point. This is also looking for a parameter, right? Or the value is just like that you want to pass in. So this argument is actually technically, like for example, if I want to say hello followed by the name, right? And this is going to be any name that arguments, right, represents the name. Like, for example, let me generate this Java doc first. I'll show you that one. Okay, I'll show you this one. Let me generate Java doc first. So since we were focusing on Java doc, I want to make sure you understand that. Alright, so I just finished generating one error. So let's see what is wrong. Main method to display hello. Oh, they don't like us to use these symbols. Okay. So hello name and argument represent the name. That's fine. Just regenerating this again. Go to tools, generate a Java doc, hit OK. No more errors. It's going to show up. Like I said, the description fill up now. Right, again, it's coming from, let's show you the code again. It's coming from the part that we put the Java doc comments on the top of the method, right? Or the constructor. And the same for f of x. This method represents fx equal to x plus 1, right? From this part. Now, if you want to see the full description, you probably have to click on it. It's going to say method name is f. The whole comments that I put is filled in here. Parameter is an integer value that needed to be increased by 1. Return x plus 1. That makes sense. So this whole Java doc, like pretty much now, I create a program that any developers can download and use. Once they download, they technically don't understand what is Java is fun, right? When they look at, correct? What they need to do, they also don't understand. If they try to read my code, they may not fully understand it. Then they can come to the Java doc. What is F, right? Then they click, okay. If I try to increase the values by 1, that represents F. And then I just need to do like F2, then I get 3 back, right? That makes sense. So that's the point of Java doc, and the main just display hello and name to represent the name. So now you learn Java doc, you going to start to require to write the Java doc on each of your program to explain, okay? And Java doc again at the class level, method level, constructor level, right? Again, this is constructor and the rest is method. Again, constructor is only the method that has the same name as your class name. No data type, no modifier, just the public, okay? Now you start to learn what is this. This is a class name. Class is just telling that this is a class, Java class. Public is another modifier. Like when I say public transportation, that means everyone can take that, right? Transportation. When I say private, that means it's my car. You cannot drive my car. It's not a public car, right? So same thing here, public. Remember I said once you write this code, you're going to share this code. So when you share it, you might want to make it public. So when you say public, then everybody access and see it. When you say private, meaning now when you say everybody in this term is like other developers can access and see, right? Even it's private, they can see, but in the term of public and private here is actually for the program, okay? Like you may have a public app that you can download, right? And they may have like private app that not for the public. You can download, you may need to buy, or the program when it's become private, it's technically will not allow other program to access, okay? So it's term of the program try to access and use this program. Like for example, when you do System.out at print line, if you look at print line technically it is a method named print line, right? This program Java is fun try to access and use the method named print line. So meaning that this print line has to be public, otherwise you cannot use it. Like system is a class. How do we know that it's a class? The rule of thumb is the class always capitalized. Remember the camel case, the camel uppercase between the words, right? We call the camel case, no spaces. So this is also a class system. So when I said that, meaning I could just Google for Java doc. Remember we learned Java doc system. It will return the system Java doc, just like the way that we see, same thing. So system, right? So we technically use another class in this program, and that's class named system. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel when we want to display something. right? When you download JDK, it's technically come with a system class. Okay. Like if you look back into your library, remember when you do the IntelliJ, we actually remember if you start a project, I have to set the path, right? To include my JDK. Let me review one more time. We do new project. This is where you do SDK, include that JDK. So this is pretty much the library under external libraries here. So if you just expand this, you will see pretty much you see JDK 1.9. See that we set the path to point to it, program files Java JDK 9. Right now, let's look at we will talk about inside this JDK. If you want to navigate through it, okay, this is the same. This is like a file explorer, but you may not use to it because your first time. So we can manually navigate to this path. See program files, right? And Java, and then JDK 9. Now you start to see this is like last time we were talking about go to bin, get your Java C, right? So it's not just the Java C, it's also have the whole libraries here. So libraries, what that means? Library is pretty much just including all the Java file, right, that you have .class pretty much after you compile, right? So then when we write a program, we don't have to rewrite. Like if you want to increase by 1, you don't have to rewrite that code anymore. You can just use my code. If my code pretty much reside in this JDK, right? So that's called the libraries here. And now if you really imagine, okay, so it's going to be a lot of Java class, right, in there. So how are we going to organize them, right? So that's why we call package. So let's look at this is a package name, java.lang. Okay, java.lang is the package name. So java.lang is it's just nothing beside a folder name. Okay, they're gonna have the folder name Java and a folder name lang. Okay, so let's see, and then the class name system is inside that folder. Okay, so that's pretty much a package. So let's see if we can look at, like, this is a package. You see java.activation, java.base, right? So there's so many packages, right? They try to organize them based on the needs. Like if you want to deal with security, then they have java.security. Okay, so this is just, they just try to organize into different folders pretty much. And if you open it, you're gonna see another subfolder inside, but these are the classes. If you open, you see that's Java file, right? So those are just .java. So this is in the library, right? Now they have java.base, right? Then this is Java, and this is .lang that I'm talking about. It's beside, it's just a folder named Java and a folder named lang that make a package. And if you scroll down to this, you should see the system. There you go. See that? And it's a class. If you open it, it's pretty much a class name system. Right. So that's why when you call system, it's technically called this class. And if this class happen to be private, now I try to explain what's private and public, right? So it's private, that means I cannot use system anymore. I cannot even display hello. So that's why normally when create class, it's always going to be public. Because the reason that you create it, because you want to make the file to share to another file to use. So like this system is public, then you can access and use system. And if you just read this code, you see they have all Java comments that I told you, right? That generate in Java doc. So if you try to read it, they talk about out right here that we refer to. Right. So if you try to read and read more in details, then you're pretty much going to learn a lot. But for the beginning, it could be a lot confusing because you may not be able to read this code yet, since you are still new. Okay. All right. So now we come back to our basic, right? So now we understand when we talk about class is refer to another class named system, and that class is public. That's why we have an access to it. As refers to out, right? Pretty much just this guy out in the system class, right? That is also referred to another method, print line, which is under print stream class, because this guy happened to be a print stream. And we learn more what's that. This is pretty much going to be in about the 10th week of this class. You start to understand what's this. Okay, in chapter 5. Okay, so but at this point, I just try to show you, like try to explain what is this whole line here, right? System class, we have this is called an attribute. An attribute is just a value of the class name out, and then that happened to be print stream class type. So that's why print stream, you have a print line or print. Yeah, print or print line. Okay. Sometime, like I told you last time, print line is called print and move to a new line. And you technically you see it's called print and move to a new line. This is how we implement it in the code. So that's why when you now you don't have to worry about that detail. It's just like when you drive a car. When you drive a car, you just need to know how to steering wheels, how to make a turn, how to accelerate it, how to stop the car by just step on the brake pad. That's it. But inside that, it's just like the System.out. This could be your braking system. This could be your speeding system, right? But you only know how to steering it through the System.out to print. Then you get the output to print. That's the design. Okay, that makes sense. So that's pretty much just the concept of Java is just like a concept of a car. We build like cars physically that you can touch, but software you cannot touch. But you see that you try to build an object, right? Like I try to build an object called system, and system just dealing with like basic input output system. Like output, it's gonna call System.out because I try to display something to the output, which is a display. So print line, right? So that is the whole object. Okay, and now you guys see there's so many objects. Just like in a car, there's so many objects. If you want to listen to the radio, you just turn on the radio. That's another object. If you want to turn on the heat, turn on the AC. Those are different objects. You want to use GPS. There's so many objects to make your car. So same. The whole point is we want to make an application. Then we need to deal with so many objects in Java and put them all together to make an application. That's it. That's the whole point. Okay. Now what we want to learn is how to make a car, right? How to use those objects and how to put them all together, right? That's pretty much what you're learning here. So you pretty much have to learn each object. What is system, just like what is GPS, right? And how to use it. How am I going to install that into my application and use it? Like now, very basic, just call it, and to use just do .out.println. Alright, now let's talk about this part, right? So we understand this whole part. We understand what's public. So public can be at the class level and at the methods level, because sometimes we want another program to access the whole class. We make it public, which is common, but we don't want them to access to all the methods. Then some method can be private, some method can be public. Okay, and we have the reason behind that, which you'll find out in CSC200. We talk about that more. Now, statics, you learn that more later. At this point, just know that method can be static and method can be like non-static. When I say non-static, pretty much you just remove the static keyword out, which is fine too. Okay, and you learn more when we want to make it static and when we don't want to make statics later. Data type, that means you return int, so that's why this is an int. If you do not return anything, no returns keyword, then it's a void. Okay, and this is just the name of the method main. This is name f. Now we have an argument int, right, or the parameter here, int integer x, so the values that you want to pass, right? And then we add that value by 1 and return back. Make sense? Now this is the same. This is the value that you can pass, but this is x is an integer, right? Remember when we talk about word or phrase, we call it as what? String. So instead of passing an integer, you could just pass in a string. Like this is just a variable named x, and this is just a variable named args. Meaning that I could pass args right here, right? Just like I do +1, x +1, or hello, followed by, if I type the name Tanis, it can say hello Tanis. Right, but the bracket means, like for example, Tanis could have the last name, right, and separate by spaces, right? So that means if I want to get to the first name, hello, right? Let me show you a little bit. Like for example, if I want to get to the first name, how do I do that? I said Tanis. Right. So if args is, let's say, like my name is Tanis Kanchanawanchai, right? Now the args is going to start this whole thing, but I want to say Tanis. The bracket here is just an index to show that this is called an array, which you learned in chapter 7. But I just explain a little bit. This is an index 0. It's going to get the first portion. And when you want to get just the last name, you just say index 1. Because there's two separate sections. So if I want to say hello first name, I have to say 0. Right there. Okay. Now, let's see how do we run this program. Like I said, you should do on Notepad first. I'm going to show you through Notepad. So technically just copy and paste. It's the same code, right? I'm going to run through Notepad. So how do we do this again? When you make the change, you have to recompile it. You could type, or you could use up key, the up arrow key from your keyboard, or down to get to the previous command that you already type. Okay, then you don't have to retype again. So I'm recompiling it again because I make changes, no errors. So I go back to run the program. Now the args is going to take into action when I want to say hello something on this part. It's pretty much just take an argument after the file name. I can just type my name. Hello tenants. See that? So it's just take an argument from this part and fill it and say hello tenants. Like I said, I want to refer to just tenants, so that's why I say args0. If I want to say my last name, so how would I change this? args1, right? So if I have to recompile every time. See that? So that's pretty much just take a parameters, right, and attach to the text here. Right. This is just the parameter named args, which I passed the arguments through the command line after the class name that I run. Right, so it's attached to that args values and fill into the program. Any questions?
Why did the one make it say your last name instead of your first name?
Oh, because when you have space, this could be an index 0, space separate index 1. If you have more space, give it index 2. If you have first, middle, and last. And it's keep going. So that's why this is a brackets. So technically, I try to explain you what is this whole code now, right?
And you're only explaining that part of the code right now?
Mm-hmm.
And basically what you were explaining to us is how to read the method, or...
I'll explain pretty much what is this whole Java code about.
Okay.
Right? Remember last time, our code is so simple, not this.
Yeah, it's really small compared to what...
Yeah, we just keep adding and adding. Last time, our code just like that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically, I just explained this one. Right? And you see on your test, like, you should know what is this, class name, right? What is this? I just explained just now. Is it argument?
Explained in the chapter 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just explained also what is this and this and this.
Okay.
Right.
And are we building upon that program for other future assignments, or no? Like adding more to like a file assignment?
Like now, we always go start a program with public class, and the name of the file can be different. But we always going to have public static void main. and then the program is going to be changed based on the requirement right here. Like last time we required say Java is fun, then you change this part. Now let's look at our card exercises, right, to see. Oh, I'm sorry, before we go there, right, I want to explain how to submit the third. So first bullet we done, right, Notepad and IntelliJ. Second bullets, right, upload both to GitHub, right. So what is GitHub? You can use GitHub or Bitbucket, doesn't matter. And they also have GitLab. So let me show you with GitHub, because GitHub is going to be the easiest one to deal with. So you may just use GitHub. What you need is you need to go to github.com and create your account. With GitHub, right? So just sign up for an account. Okay, you can just hit sign up. Now, I'm going to sign in with my account that I have already created. You totally can use your username, like I have CSC200. Alright, so I'm into my GitHub. That's technically just it. I just need, you actually don't need to sign in, but I try to sign in just to show you. It's just like, if you guys use what, Google Drive, right? You pretty much just put your files on the cloud, right? So same, you can just put your file, your source code on the cloud, GitHub. Okay, I just understand it like that. And this is just pretty much a folder for your projects, right? With the source code inside. And you can see source code, right? Java source code, right? So same thing when you submit your work. Like I said, technically you can just sign up, that's it. To submit, you can just go to IntelliJ. Like for example, this is my Java is Fun Chapter 1 assignment, right? Chapter 1.1 for my last class exercise that's supposed to do. Let me create a submission, right? So I'm done with this assignment. How do I submit on GitHub? GitHub is a version control system. Just like you have your work on your Google Drive, there's a version that you can get to the previous. So that's why it's called version control. So it stands for VCS, right? It stands for version control system. So you go to VCS and you can say import into your version control. Right, like that's why I said Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab. Those are pretty much the same, just different brand, like OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, right? So like I said, it's easier for you to use GitHub at this point because you totally will see it right away. Share project on GitHub when you use IntelliJ.
So you would want us to sign up for GitHub then?
Yeah, totally. After sign up for GitHub, go here.
And when we sign up for GitHub, it asks like, what do we plan to use it for? Do we just say school projects?
Yeah.
And that's it? Like, no research, no development, project management?
Very fine for this class. This is school projects. Right.
And we can always change this later if we needed to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What's the token to this for DJ share?
Okay, so share project on GitHub, right? So technically, do you have the same thing that I have? Do you have the same screen that I have after you click?
No.
Because first time you may want to set your login and password. Same username and password that you create when you sign up. Like now, I already signed in. It seems like it's already there for me. Like, it should prompt you to, like now, I'm going to share a project. It's going to say, do you want to create a repository name? Repository pretty much just the repository, like this is the one, the list of the repository here. You see that? Like now, if I want to do chapter 1.1, I just going to add the name in front. 1.1 Java is fine, right? It's say invalid because they don't want you to use the period, I think, right? Or I'm going to use underscore instead, okay? Let's see if I use dash, okay. And you can explain the description of this project, like this play I love Java. It's fun, right? And share. And then that's it. That's how you submit it. So the next thing is, yeah, it's going to ask you to what are the files that you want to put on the folder now to share. Like, typically you don't want, there's so many files going on here after you do, right? Generate Java doc. So you only want, like if the requirement asks you to do .java, right? That's what you want. So you're looking for .java. And if it asks you to include your Java doc, if you want to include Java doc, you just click Java, it's fine, right? .html. This is your .java, and that's it. And now it's just pushing to the GitHub, which once this will went out, so then it's done. It's pushing. Then what you need to do, you just go to github.com and you refresh. You should see the repository name, right? Java chapter successful share. I think it's going to share into different account because I use different account and it's been setting. Like I said, first time when you use this, it should prompt you to sign in first with your username and password to GitHub, right? But I already signed in and it's not signed. I have different account. I have, let me see. I just need to change that to CSC200. There you go. It's having to push to, because I signed it with CSC200. And this is the source code and Java doc. It's HTML file that we've seen in the browser. Have to read through the browser. But this is the one that we just did today, right? And you pretty much just submit this link, right? Copy and submit to your Blackboard. When you submit your assignment, you just go to Dropbox, right, and submit that, and just stop your videos, upload to YouTube, and submit the link, right, to your YouTube videos. You can just put that's your source and another link for YouTube, right, to the assignment. Okay. Like, you can just upload your videos and submit. That's technically how to submit your assignment. And then let's check if I just say upload to, right? Like I said, GitHub is the easiest one. You can use program to record and upload.
quick question. So is anyone able to see anything you put on GitHub?
Yes. Yes, you could see now by going to, I happen to put on CSC200, and then you should be able to search for this code just now that we lectured. It should, when you go to repository, it should be the latest one, 3 minutes ago. What?
You say display both, so you're saying we just have to do the delegate, or do you want the notepad one on GitHub?
Yeah, then not when you do the video I see it, right? When you do the video I see, you have the notepad one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So just the IntelliJ goes to GitHub.
Mm-hmm. Any other question on how to submit the assignment? If not, we're going to come to class exercise for today. Now, let's look at what you need. I want to add something on how to submit. I want you to include Java doc too, okay? We learned about Java doc, right? Include the HTML file too. So generate Java doc and include the HTML to submission on GitHub, right? Alright, so include that too. Now, so we go look at your class exercise for today, which is 1.2. So technically, I just show you hello my name, hello tennis, right? In the version of passing through the arguments, right? So this one is technically in the version of not passing to the argument, but the program is going to prompt and ask you to enter your name, right? Then I enter my name, and then it's going to say hello my name. How do you do that, right? So we said last class you were looking at how to use System.out, right? So this one we want to use scanner. Okay. So you guys read chapter 2, right? We talk about scanner. In chapter 1 already, right?
Yeah.
So what's chapter 2 talking about? Anyone read chapter 2? What is it talking about, chapter 2? Alright, none of you read chapter 2? Alright, so make sure if you didn't finish it, I want you to finish your chapter 2. Okay? By next class. Alright? And try to summarize for me what have you learned, okay? Now, I want you to talk about scanner first. So, I'm going to create a new project with IntelliJ to prepare for so now we're still in Windows mode, right? I want you to start to prepare that we're going to change to Unix soon. Okay. So make sure that you have to get used to this first. The one I've been doing. Yeah, first few assignments here. Okay. because when you get to Unix, it's gonna get harder. Okay. So this one is still a simple mode. Just make sure you used to how to submit assignment, things like that, do like that. How to use GitHub. Okay. Compile program like that. When you get to Unix, it's gonna be easier. All right. So this is what scanner. Okay, I'm gonna say scanner is fun then. We just talk about scanner. Let's create a project name. Scanner is fun. All right. So same. You're going to write a code from Notepad, right? So technically, I'm going to just save this file as scanner is fun. Remember, you have to do 2 versions, right? All right. So the first thing I have to change is what? The name has to match, right? Class name and file name. I can just remain the main, right? It's always like that. Now, the requirement now is said, I want to prompt the user to say, enter your name. It's pretty much just to display the text, right? Enter your name. Now, if I run this program, you can see it's going to say, enter your name. And then how could I type the name, right? And then the program will read. So I need to recompile this, right? It's gonna be scanner is fun. And then run it. Enter your name. But it didn't give me a chance to type my name. It's not like this one, right? That's another version, right? But this one we want to use scanner. Scanner, we start to look at what a class is. Java doc. Remember I teach you Java doc, right? If you don't know about a scanner, you can just read the Java doc. It's always a new class. Last time we learned system. This time we learned scanner. Remember we tried to learn how to build an application, right? So before we can build a car or an application, we just need to learn each component. What is GPS? What's the brake system, right? What's the steering wheel system, right? What's suspension system? So now we're learning System.out. We're gonna learn scanner at this point to learn how to read input from the user. Right? In application, that's just very simple. Get input, process the input, and display the output. That's what we want, right? Like in the video game, input could be your touch or console keyboard, right? That's what you need to be able to read the input, right? That's how user move the object, right? So that's why scanner is basic reading input. Just read the string, right? So it's how to use that. To use that, first you need to import scanner. When first scanner is not in java.lang package, right? Remember I showed you system resides in where? Java.lang. If you want to recall, right there, right? So scanner resides in java.util. Again, if you want to navigate through this, I already showed you, right, where it is. It's pretty much another class under Java base, right? Under java.util. Right, if you scroll down, we learn new class name, scanner. Right there, right? You can open and read the code, but it might be easier to read, just like it's better to read this Java doc. Right? Because it's more explanation how to use it. It's simple text scanner. Alright, so now if you're still new, reading through this, it's a little bit harder too. But what I'm going to conclude, make it simple, is a class that not resizing in java.lang, you have to import it. Okay? Like all the classes that reside in java.lang here, you don't need to import it. Just like system, like all these classes, you don't need to import, right? Like how to import, right? Import technically just like this. This is another statement, import, right? In the beginning, before you use, you have to follow by the package name and the class name, like package java.util and class name scanner. Alright, so let me show you how to import. Technically, before you use scanner, in the beginning, you need to import, right? java.util.scanner. Okay, package name and the class name, and with semicolon. And import is a keyword that you want to include that class to use in your class. Any questions so far? Alright, so now we want to learn how to use scanner. To use system, you just do System.out. Now, if you look back to system, they have out, like I told you, it is an attribute. This is an out, right? We call field summary. Remember, we have constructor, method, and now field. Okay, the field summary is talking about this guy is statics, right? Like I said, some are static, some are non-statics. When it is statics, you could just call it by .out directly, like the class name, and refer to the field name. Okay. But scanner, we try to think about all the classes has what? Method, right? You want to print something, you call the method print, right? I want to read, right? I want to read from the user input from the keyboard. Then I need to call the method like read, something like that, right? But how do you know that it's going to name read? We don't know, because we don't know how to use scanner yet. Then we have to find out. It's going to say if you want to read an integer, you do next int. See, now next int if you want to read an integer. If you want to read a text, you do next or string. Okay, like if you want to read more about methods, you can just search for the method name next. This is a method summary. Right, so I'm looking for the summary method field return the next complete token from this scanner. Remember, method can return, right? So this one returns string. This is what we want. We want to read a string like the name, right? So that's why this is the method that you want to use, which is next. Okay. Now, how to use scanner? We identify that. Can we say scanner.next? Like system, we said we can do System.out.print, right? Because it is statics. But if you look at next, it is non-statics. Like I said, method can be static, method can be non-statics, right? So the one that's statics, you could use the dot, like class name followed by dot, and access the method directly. But the one that's non-static, you couldn't. What you need to do, you have to create an object of scanner first. And how to create an object. This is a line showing you how to create an object. Okay. So technically you need this line. Like, I need to create an object of scanner. Right. So call the scanner class And this is just the object name. It could be any name. In Javadoc, they happen to use SC. We can just keep SC. It's just abbreviated form scanner. Equals to new scanner. This is called again a constructor that we just mentioned earlier. Right? This is a class name. This is a constructor because they have parentheses. Constructor is the class that has the same name as your class name. I mean the method, right? That has the same name as your class name. And you have to pass in an argument. Okay. If you look at Javadoc, it's going to have the summary of constructors. See that? So scanner has so many constructors, but we want to pick one that input stream. That's it. We want to read from the input stream. Okay. System.in is going to be an input stream. If you look at in, it is an input stream right here. See that? Just like System.out is for output stream, print stream. Now, what we need is we have to make an input stream. So that's why I said System.in. Okay. Technically, if you were confusing this a little bit, at this point, remember, just write this whole line. Make it easy. When you get used to this, then you start to remember and start to learn more why I have to do this later. Just memorize it first if you are confusing, because this is still new for you. Whenever you want to read something from the keyboard, input, import java to utils.scanner, create an object name SC, and this is you create an object, this line. Okay. What's next? Now we should be able to use the method. What's the method name again that we want? sc.next. Right? That next will return a string. Alright. So in chapter 2, that's why I asked you, chapter 2 should discuss about a data type and how to create a variables. Is that right?
Yeah, but it doesn't talk about strings, it just talks about characters, booleans.
So let's look at so those are the data type we were mentioned about type earlier, right?
Primitives, yeah.
Like number has a type, integer, right?
Yeah, but strings aren't primitives, so it didn't list it for the rest of the others.
The string, right? String. You read to that. So that's why please complete chapter 2 reading over the weekend, okay? So these are data types. It could be byte, short, int. We talk about integer, right? We're gonna talk about that more next time. At this point, string could be one type. Okay, when I say byte could be number between 100 minus 128 to 127. When I say integer, like any whole integer number that we know. When I say char, it's represented like a letter, A, B, C, D, like a character. Boolean could be true or false. Now, next time we will get into details for this one. But at this point, a name, what should be a type of the name? It's not none of this, right? It's a string. String is a type, and you can keep reading this. It's going to talk about string. Okay? Which I want you to read this first, and we talk about this more next time. Yeah, talk about string. Like the whole statements, that's string. Name is a string. So string, like when I want to say hello, I can put hello in the string name greeting. What's this guy? This guy called variables. That contains the value hello. Right there, when I print, I can just print greeting instead of hello like we used to do. Make sense? Like for example, go back to our program. If I want to print the name, like enter your name, I could create a variable's name string. Variables just say prompt, and make it equals to this whole statement, right? Enter your name, and then I can say prompt. That's the same thing, right? Because prompt store the value, enter your name. So let me, now this is the time that you use single line comments. Like, I'm not going to worry about these 2 lines. I just want to show you this one works. Make sense? When I do this, it's just like I erase this 2 line out of my program. But I actually don't want to erase it because I want to come back and use it. That's why I use this single line comments to commenting them all out. Okay. Now I'm going to recompile this. You should get the same when I create variables and not enter your name. Make sense? Now I want to read the name from the user. How do I do that? I use scanner. To use scanner, import java-util.scanner, create an object named sc, right, equal new scanner system.in. System.in refer to input stream from the keyboard that I'm going to enter. And then I should be able to call the method name next from the class name sc. When I call next, it says going to return. Remember we talked about method will return, right? If you want to see, you can read java-doc again. It's going to return. What is it going to return? Java-doc says string. That's what we want. That means I need to declare a variable to store that values. String name. Because this will return a string values. Like tennis, I store into variable name. Now I can just do System.out, just display hello tennis, right? Hello, and then name is my variable, just like the args way that we did, right? So let's test this program. I just Control S to save that. Make sure you save the program first and recompile it. Now I'm gonna run it. Enter your name. Now you see that it's different than before. Before it's just go to C column. Now it's waiting for me to enter my name. Hello tennis. So that's how you read the user input using scanner. Any questions? Alright, so you might want to go back and review these videos, and the class exercise that you want to do. Again, I have multiple videos that just talking about just the exercise itself that you can review also. So you should be able to see the link right there. So this is an example of read in a string like name that I just showed you. This is an example of read in a number. Instead of read like next, it's going to do like even integer to do next int. And after that, your assignment is the same thing. Use Notepad, right? And what IntelliJ, you're going to do write a Java program to declare and create scanner to obtain user input from the keyboard. I just showed you, right? This program will start to prompt the user with enter your name. That's exactly what I did. After user enter his or her username, instead of your name, I said username. We want to do authentication. The program will prompt the user to enter your password. So we prompt again, second time. After the user enter his or her password, the program will output hello. Username welcome to CSC200 class, and your password is. And then you just display the password. Replace the password with that x. So that's pretty much what you need to do. I think we're not using Eclipse, so we use IntelliJ. You should know how to use IntelliJ at this point.
So we're using IntelliJ and not Eclipse. Correct.
Correct. Alright, so you don't need this. But in the video you may see I was using Eclipse to show you. Okay, these videos. But in this new video I show you how to use Eclipse, right? I mean IntelliJ, right? It's pretty much just very similar, but you should be able to figure it out. Alright, so I think this is it for today's class. So